What's going on, guys? Back at it again, another video. Hit the subscribe button, like, comment, and share, and all that good stuff. And in this video, I'm going to explain sticks, how it's important to OCS in your career, and just kind of give a quick little overview on what's going to happen when you get there. So I know a lot of people that watch this video are not in so far, so some of the verbiage may be kind of like, what am I talking about? So I'm going to try to explain everything in the most simplistic way as possible and not try to make it too military jargony, because I understand when I watch some of these videos, when I didn't get in or nothing like that, I don't know what you're talking about, but you'll know what I'm talking about once you kind of get in the process. You're gonna understand the verbiage a little more clearly. So pretty much sticks is STX, it's situational training exercise. So you're gonna do this in OCS, where it's gonna be like in the middle of the time that you're there. So it's gonna be, for us, it was right, we went to blue phase before we went to sticks. Typically, most people will phase up to blue when they're done with sticks. So pretty much phasing up is you guys are gonna start off with a black ascot, wear around your neck, and then you're gonna switch it to the blue one. So you're gonna phase up to blue typically after. So once you finish the sticks, it's gonna be where you guys gonna branch. So that's why it's like the last major event before you guys branch. Branching is essentially, that's when you'll find out what where you're going to be doing your officer service at. So it could be AG, it could be finance, it could be infantry, it could be whatever. That's going to be your branches. So this is going to be a very critical time. So you are, at this point, you guys will already have done majority of the hard stuff, like land navigation, history, and things of that nature. So you should be already past those already. So you should be, this should be the last major hurdle that you guys got to face. So people are going to be a little bit more lax and stuff like that, and it's going to seem like a very fun and cool part of the process, which it is. I highly think so. But it's going to be one of the events that everybody's going to be mad when they get back from sticks. So sticks is going to be a 2-week event. So it's going to be during the weekdays. So it's going to be Monday to Friday, and you guys will go home, well, back to OCS, back into your barracks or whatever for the weekend, and go right back in the field. So that's kind of going on the breakdown. Once you get in the sticks, it's going to be a squad size element. So it's going to be pretty much everybody that's in your line. So it could read, so if you're in the formation, everybody that's on your left and your right of you, that's going to be your squad. So the squad will typically have about 8 to maybe 14 people to pick, depending how big your class is. So everybody's gonna have to do three things. So three graded assignments on sticks. So sticks are gonna be a squad leader position, alpha team position, and a bravo team position. So you're gonna get graded on those. What really matters is gonna be the squad leader. Squad leader is gonna be the official grade, where you're gonna get a point system grade. Team leader is going to be a pass fail, so you're going to pass it or you're going to fail it. So typically that's not really hard to fail it. I did see a couple people fail team lead. Typically, if you did, like, some people I see like fratricide, or say for example, if you're doing if you guys are sweeping across the doing the LOA, and then one person turns back to try to engage with the enemy that you thought, that you didn't know that they were dead, but you thought they were, you thought they were dead, but they really was alive, and you came back and still swept, you'll fail with that, because that's against, like, I guess some type of rules or something like that. I've seen that happen a couple times, and just kind of just being all over the place, not knowing what you're doing. So, but it's really hard to relatively fail as a team lead. For a squad leader, oh man, I'm not gonna lie. No matter how many iterations that you see, when you get up to be squad leader, you're going to be super nervous. I'm not going to lie to you. I was nervous, and I was like 5th or 6th. So speaking of 5th or 6th, so how they kind of pick things out, I don't know how they did. They either did it randomized, or I don't know. I don't know how they did it. Experience based, I'm not too sure. But I can tell you this right now. If you're not experienced and they put you first to do it, they don't like you. They put you at squad leader position first, the first person to go. Oh man, it's gonna be rough for you, because you're gonna be very nervous. You're not gonna see how everybody else do it, because you're gonna be off with your squad. You're not gonna see everybody else do their stick lane. So it's gonna be this you and your squad, and they're gonna be looking at you like, okay, what we gotta do, this stuff like that. So they're not gonna do as well. So. And the worst thing about sticks, which I don't like, just kind of going in one of the parts I don't like, whether you go first or you go 11th to 12th, you're still going to be graded the same exact way. So if you stunk it up first, they're not going to be like, oh man, since he went first, I'm going to give you a little grace. Only grace they might give you is probably a couple less IEDs or a couple less casualties and see how you react, as opposed to maybe like in that 5th or 6th iteration, you might get more like KIAs and stuff like that. And you got to see how you react and stuff like that. So that's pretty much going to be on the difference. But you're going to get graded the same, let's be honest. And speaking of grades, all the stick lanes are going to be different. So how it's going to work is you guys are going on the field. I'm gonna go, before I go into operator, I'm just gonna go to this is general layout. So the layout's gonna be like this. So you're gonna go into, everybody gonna have a go into a different lane. So you're gonna say you go into lane 1. Lane 1 is gonna be a completely different lane, different from what lane 2. But everyone is gonna be, some gonna be super easy, some gonna be super hard. As far as finding like your ORPs, OPFORs and stuff like that, it's gonna be easy or hard depending on what you do. So this is what I would recommend for anybody that is that this has not went up yet, or say if it's not your day to go. I would highly recommend you become an OPFOR. Become OPFOR so you can get an idea on where the enemy's at, how they're gonna maneuver and stuff like that, and you can kind of see how if people are messing up, you can say, oh yeah, they did this, we can change it up. Because if observation is gonna make your grade too though. If you see everybody else messing up this way, you can just do something completely different and make sure that you're solid on your time when you become a squad leader. So this I highly recommend, if you can, be OPFOR so you can see what's going on, and try to switch lanes so you can see how every lane is operating. I was when I did mine, I was a PAO, so I was filming. So I got to see a lot of different people doing their iterations and stuff like that. So I kind of got a little familiarity on like, okay, do it like this, do it like that. This is a sorry one. This is a really good one. And then you can kind of like, you know, gauge on how you're going to do. Because a lot of times you're going to sound good watching everybody else sucking and being really good. But once you up there, it's going to be a little different. So what was that? So when you do your, so how it starts off is, once you be assigned a op order, you're going to be pretty much going to a tent. I think would you be with your team leader? Oh no, it's going to be everybody that's having a squad. So pretty much everybody that's going to be doing squad leader position is going to be in a tent that day, that night. So you're going to look at the tent, look at it, do your op order, stuff like that, write it out on however they do it, however they teach you how to do op order. We had a big pack, like a little, like a sheet that's kind of like was plastic laminated, and you can write on there and stuff like that. And then you'll turn it in, and then you'll brief it that morning or whenever you do your op order, and you're gonna read it off, blah blah blah. I'll say the biggest thing that you guys should focus on before you guys go out onto the field. So some things that I did, and then I learned this from the other company that was very effective. Print out a PowerPoint of like how you want, like an addendum and stuff like that. So if you want to kind of shorten things up a little bit, you can kind of say refer to the addendum and stuff like that. So it can be like, addendum could have stuff like, well, you're probably not gonna know what I'm talking about, but if you do, say you got a AR or a grenadier can be assigned the EPW role, or he can do demolition or something like that. So anybody that is that, when you point them that, they already know their roles when they get there. So that's one thing you need to do, is brief. If you really want to be exceptional in your stick lane, brief it to everybody else before you go out there. So it's the case the cadre asks, hey, what do you do in your part? You can be like, oh yeah, I'm demolition, I'm demolition 1, I'm EPW 2, blah 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 blah, and then they can be like, okay, cool, check out. They normally won't check you on that, but it's always good to know, because you may get nervous, you may not know what you're talking about at the time that you're doing it, and they might be questioning like, oh, I don't think you know what you're talking about. Hey, what you supposed to do? And then they can just help you out. Also too, it's very big beforehand to have a good relationship with your squad. I'm kind of giving guys some quick tips, because if your squad doesn't have a good relationship with you, and say they already did their graded assignment, that's when a lot of people will start getting like more fratricides and stuff like that, because people already got their grades. They're gonna be a little bit more lax. You probably gonna see the lane already like the 5th time, so you're gonna already kind of be a little more lax days ago, as opposed to the first 3 iterations, because everything's unfamiliar. People gonna be a little bit more jokey, and if they don't rock with you, they may not help you out with stuff. And we had a situation in my squad where they didn't rock with one of the members on there, maybe not as cool as the other people. So he was struggling immensely on his iteration, and we had a what's it called? PT, was it RTO? He had an RT, was an RTO. They made someone an RTO. And some other person had the call slip in his back pocket, and he didn't give it to the RTO at all. Like, he had it in his hand. So when the person was struggling and trying to get this his calls and stuff like that, say he had to call it in to the headquarters, he didn't know how to do it. But the other guy had the sheet in his back pocket, but never gave it to him at all one time. And the dude also dropped his op order. He had it in his pocket, in his hand the whole time, and never gave it to him. So he pretty much let him crash out when he was trying to reiterate the mission and stuff like that. So it was a bad. He ended up failing the first one in the doing fratricide and had to redo his whole iteration again, which sucks because if one person messes up, we all have to do the iteration with him. So it's not like he got to do it with a separate group. You got to redo it again. So you're gonna have to do you're doing it with everybody in your squad. So if it's 11 people on there, you're gonna have to do 11 iterations. Some you're gonna be doing nothing. Some you're gonna be doing team leader, alpha team leader stuff. But the easiest ones are gonna be the Bravo alpha team leaders. So don't even stress too much. That's gonna be probably more fun one. So you get to kind of like do the leader recon. So here's the thing that you should focus on when you're doing the stick lane. The biggest thing that you focus on is making sure that you have full communication of the squad. Make sure you have good command presence. Make sure that you understand the cadre and how they grade. So like in my situation, the first few iterations, they was focused on presenting only the Frago. So Frago is pretty much the shortened version of the op order. So it's just gonna be a quick bam, 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 bam. And it tell you to skip it, skip. But they didn't tell you to skip. They just told you to say the frag. So there's a quick announcement. Any changes, just present the changes that happen. Just say, yeah, as discussed in blah, 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 as discussed in blah, blah, blah. And then we just keep moving. Just focus on the actual execution of the situation. When I went up, they switched it into making it the full entire op order brief. So it ended up throwing me off. So I had a really bad op order. Not bad because it wasn't good. It was bad because it was super short, because I was presenting it as the frag, because we was announced from the company command, not company, the captain, that they're only doing the frag. So making sure that you have everything. So when you guys get the start doing your stick lanes, you're gonna have a grade sheet. Print that grade sheet out, print it out, and follow that grade sheet to the T. So make sure when you're practicing your op order brief, make sure that you make sure you check off everything, because so once you're done with your when you do your AAR and stuff like that, if they say, hey, you didn't mention this, you can say, yes, I did say this. Or if your squad really rock with you, they'll say, yeah, I heard them say this, I heard them say that. Yeah, they did say that. Sometimes they don't rock with you. You don't want to be dependent on if they rock with you or not, because they may not even say nothing. Because we had a situation where you got to say the mission statement twice or whatever. The objective, you got to say it twice. Blah, 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 opera, blah, 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 will conduct, blah, 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 see the objective, blah, blah, blah. I repeat, blah, 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 blah. You got to say that twice. That's a big part of your grade. And sometimes people will say it once, and then the cadre will be like, did you say that twice? I didn't hear that. And then someone say, yeah, I heard him say it twice. Yeah, he did say it twice. Yeah, he did say it twice too. So they'll check that off. So your squad can look out for you, or they can be like, just let you just crash out and not say nothing. Trust me. You will know once you get the stick lane if your squad rock with you or not. I'm trying to tell you, they will. So mine was decent. They rocked with me a little bit, so they did kind of help me out. But something they kind of let me crash. I don't like doing the execution, but I ate that up. So also, the biggest thing is make sure you understand like rehearsals. Making sure that you conduct things in an orderly fashion where you either, if you're going to give command to, like you're going to give the instruction to the Alpha and the Bravo team leaders, make sure you give them clear directions on what to do. So make sure they're not lacking off. Make sure they're not wasting time. Make sure they're conducting their EPW drills. Make sure they're doing their boundings and stuff like that. They got rehearsal everything that you can, and then execute the mission. And because pretty much you won't get a certain time frame to do stuff. I think it's like an hour and 90 minutes. I think in 90 minutes, the clock gonna stop as soon as you get the op order in your hand. So you're not gonna be issues with time. But if you guys are not organized off the gate, the hardest part of the situation is picking, like deciding who's gonna go with who. Like say, here's gonna be the people that's gonna be Alpha team leader. Here's your roles for the Bravo team leader and stuff like that. That's probably gonna be the most time consuming part, and also finding the ORP. So once you kind of get that, if you get that quick, and get that established, everything else going to kind of play its course. Also, leaders recon is very essential to stick lanes. So making sure that you understand who to bring with you. Also, picking the right people to be in certain roles. So if you know some guy is really good at doing this, try to put him in a role so they'll go out on the leaders recon you and it makes sense. Making sure that you do your GOTWA. So pretty much GOTWA, it is in a simple way. It's just like, I'm be going this long, bringing this people, blah, 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 what to do on this time, if that, stuff like that. And then also laying out what is the procedures you gotta do if you get a certain call, like say you get responding to reacting to contact. So if you receive indirect fire, what are you gonna do? If you see direct fire, what you gonna do? Are you gonna keep pushing on to the mission, or you'll go back to the ORP? Making sure that you communicate that to everyone so everybody knows what's going on. Also, when bullets are flying, communicate, talk. If you're a team leader, talk. If you're a squad leader, you need to talk. You need to bring out, hey, bound left, cover me, I got you, blah, blah, blah. Bound right, blah, 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 blah. You gotta make sure that you're communicating. Don't let other people kind of outshine you in a situation, because the cadre are gonna notice that and they're gonna deduct that from your grade. And sometimes people, when they get into the intense moments, some people gonna take over naturally out of the drilling because they like the thrill or they're very knowledgeable, and some people gonna be they're gonna get scared and not really gonna say nothing. It's gonna happen with a lot of people like that. You think they'll got it squared away, and then when together they'll freeze up, and then you got someone else making the calls so that they're doing the call, the shift fires and stuff like that. Also, the biggest thing when you go do your leaders recon, make sure that you got your TRP. That's pretty much your target reference point. So once the support and the maneuver element are set, you guys will know where you guys are shooting at. And then once they get to a certain point, you can say shift fire to a certain point so they can advance through. And cause that's the biggest thing to fratricide, and making sure that you have something to make those calls. Either you can do a whistle, you can do you can time it, you can whatever you can do to get it synchronized so you're not presenting any chances of fratricide. Fratricide is pretty much you're shooting at your own shooting at friendlies. You don't want, that's probably the number one way to get you a fail or no-go in sticks is fratricide. You don't even want to get in a situation where you're close to even getting a fratricide. That's going to be detrimental to your grade, because you're automatically going to get a fail, and then then if you try to do it again, you're going to already be deducted, I think 80% or something like that off the gate, or something like that, 80%, so you're already going to be bad. So that's going to be one of the biggest things. And also, when you guys are doing your AAR and receive your grades, you need to know where you stand at. Make sure that if they put something on there, make sure they say, hey, this is what you failed at, and you need to dispute that on the spot. If you see something that was not right, you need to dispute it on the spot, because what's going to happen is you finish your stuff, you're going to be laughing, you're going to be joking, having a good time. Guess what happens? Once you get back to your to the footprint, and then they release them grades, and you was ranked 11, now you at 80 something. Now all of a sudden you gonna get mad and be like, what you mean? You said I did real good. But you look at that scorecard, you didn't even dispute it. Stuff that you probably could have did. And guess what? Sometimes they may not even have no notes on your stuff while they gave you a certain grade. They might not even have it even signed on your stuff. And then you're gonna be like, what you gonna do? You can't really do nothing about it because the grades are already put in. And trust me, you're going to have a million people complaining about their grade, because everybody going to be having fun in stick lanes. I'm telling you that right now. Everybody going to have so much fun on stick lane. But until them grades drop, that's going to be the one that's going to give you you're going to see everybody going to have the most frenzy, because that is worth a big amount of your grade. And especially with the op orders, we had a lot of cadre having a lot of issues with how things were graded in our company, because the op order was such a big part of your grade, but it had the least amount of instructions, and also was very subjective to the grader, because one grader could be looking for this, and another grader could be looking for this, and another grader looking for a whole different thing. So you might have the first sergeant, what's one of your graders, he might emphasize on rehearsal, and then you might get a staff sergeant or someone that really doesn't care, and all he want to do is see you do the execution or how you respond to react to contact. Then you might have another grader that might focus on how your order of formation is going. Like, are you guys doing the overhead? Are you guys doing overhead watch? Are you making out your calls, stuff like that? Are you guys moving with are you moving tactically? Are you guys making a lot of noise and stuff like that? Everybody looking for. So if you can, ask the cadre, what are you looking for in your grade, in addition to what's on the grade sheet? What is something that you're focused on far as in this iteration? So I make sure that I pay particular focus on that situation, so it's not a surprise once you see that grade sheet. Because if you check off everything on the boxes, they'll find some way to lower it in some type of way based on what they see in the situation, even if you think you hit the point. So even though I'm saying hit the check mark, they might subject it to, like, it won't be just a check. They be like, oh, that's like he did that, alright. He checked it, but he did it, alright. So you want to get further clarification on what is hyper focused in the situation for you. And if you're cool enough with the cadre, they'll tell you what's going on. Or sometimes if that cadre is relatively like more lax and they do a game with you, say when you in OPFOR, stuff like that, they'll probably talk to you a little bit. Most of the cadre can be cool, but some can be real strict. My grade, when I did sticks, I got a relatively low grade, which was BS, because I had the best execution, but I had rated the worst op order only because I only presented the Frago to the op order. So my op order brief was like 7 minutes, which was super short. Op order is typically like 15 to 25 minutes. So I just presented a frag. No change, no change, no change, no change, no change. I discussed before. Refer to the addendum, forward to the addendum. But my grader wanted me to say the whole entire op order, and which was kind of crazy, because I seen that same grader in another instance present the frag the day before that. So I was there when she was doing the frags on top of that. So it was kind of throwing me off. But again, I didn't really stress too much about it because I was reserved. So I already had my branch. But if I wasn't in reserves, I would have been raising hell the whole entire time. And a lot of people did. So it's very imperative that you communicate not only to your squad, but also with the grader that you're grading, that you're going to be doing your op order brief at the time of that lane. And be very observant on how people move. If you can do something better, try to tweak it and then kind of gauge like how people engage it, but how everybody else do it. So if you see a real good one, a real good person that do they because everybody gonna probably do their ORP the same. The ORP is gonna be pretty much the same for the most part, but it might vary, because some at the beginning people gonna suck at ORPs. They're gonna suck for the most part, and then some gonna be really good at it. But if you kind of can remember, like kind of get an ideal and gauge, hey, this is where you're gonna do your ORP at. ORP is pretty much where, when you guys advance, where you guys gonna be ducting your real actual operation. Sorry if I didn't explain what ORP is. It's gonna be where you're gonna do your actual operation at. So you're gonna move close until where you get closer to the enemy, and then that's when you're gonna start doing your leaders recon, and then you guys are gonna start your order moving. But that's when you're gonna start doing your engagement and stuff like that, trying to destroy OPFOR, whatever the mission is at the time, and then do your LOA and stuff like that and all that stuff. So long as you focus on like the leader recon, making sure your op order brief is squared away, making sure that you rehearse it. If you're not comfortable doing op order briefs, you're going to do a class and a grade assignment on your op order briefs. So making sure that just be comfortable saying it, speaking for a long time, because the op order is going to be like 20 minutes. It's going to be boring. It's going to be mundane. People are going to be not listening to you and stuff like that. So make sure that after you finish your op order, just making sure that you take charge and say, hey, I need you to do this. I need you to do this. Hey, I know I trust you with squad leader position. Hey, this is what my guidance are. You execute that, and making sure everybody is not like lollygagging and stuff like that. Because even though people gonna be joking at the back end of the sticks lane, it's gonna be very big to your grade, and it's gonna be the last major grade assignment before you guys go off into your career, which is gonna be minimum 4 years. So you don't want to be miserable in a branch that you don't like if you're active duty for 4 years, having to trying to rebranch on year 5, trying as captain, then having to do a whole different situation. Don't even know what that is. So make sure that you're hyper focused on that. Making sure that you're due diligent, communication, know your GOTWAs, know your TRPs, do rehearsals, making sure that you know the order of movements, making sure if you are RTO, Making sure that you know list the calls and stuff like that, the headquarters. If they don't know it, just explain it to them and stuff like that. Also, making sure that you know, making sure that you do EPW drills for them. I forgot the name of it. I'm sorry, EPW. Making sure that if they're checking for like demolition, make sure they're checking like if they got grenades. Making sure that you pat them down. Making sure they have no intel. Making sure they have no type of weapons. Making sure people are officially dead. Making sure you're clearing the objective without any issues. Those are the biggest thing, and it's communicating, bounding, make sure you're not committing no fratricide or anything like that, and making sure that you guys have a great ORP to conduct your operation. And the biggest thing, do not try your best to not get compromised in the mission. Even though sometimes the cadre, if you're taking too long, they're gonna end up throwing IEDs and stuff like that to kind of keep you moving. But as long as you guys are communicating stuff like that, you're still gonna be graded fine. Doesn't mean that you're doing bad. Sometimes these guys, they want to pace it up, and sometimes the instructor could be on one. It depends on who your grade are, but stay cool, calm, and collected. Don't be nervous. Don't freeze up. Just stay in communication. Empower the people that you think will be successful, and also it's cool with you to have a good rapport to you that will actually communicate. Because sometimes you can have someone that's really good at stuff, but they're not really fond of you. So even if they know stuff, they're not probably going to fully like engage with you, making sure that you're squared away. They're just going to just do what they need to do to pass, and they kind of will leave you out the straight. So make sure that you get the best person that can do the job, but also have the highest dignity and also a good rapport with you, so they'll rock with you if you are kind of messing up and not letting you crash out, because that's very good. Because you might just pick someone that's really good, but they don't really like you like that, and they're just gonna just let you just do what you gotta do. Or even if you know what you're talking about, you'll just say, hey, do this, and they know what's wrong, but they're not gonna correct you on it. So hope this guys was helpful for us with the stick lanes. If I missed anything I said in this video, which I don't think I did, I think I covered pretty much most of the stuff in stick lanes. I'm trying to stay okay. I'm trying to make sure I didn't forget anything in my top of my head. Stick lanes, okay. Okay, you go off there, you go stick lane, you gonna be in the woods, walking, blah blah blah, blah blah blah. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Yeah, you're gonna be there like you said, you're gonna be there from Monday to Friday. You're gonna be sleeping there overnight. It's every day. It's gonna be rough. Make sure you get your hygiene products and stuff like that for the 5 days. Make sure that you got food. Make sure you stay hydrated. Make sure you get some electrolyte. If you can bring some electrolyte packets and stuff like that. Make sure you get some bananas and stuff like that. It's making sure that you stay, make sure you're not cramping up and stuff like that. Making sure that you're energetic, or you got at least energy. You don't want to be too lethargic and not, you know what I'm saying, like slow movement, so you're not missing the attention to details and stuff like that. Make sure that you're in a good mood, motivated. Make sure that you have all your documents ready if you got addendums and stuff like that. I wish I had my flyer, my folders with me. I probably could have just show you guys what mines look like. I don't have it with me. What else we can get there? And that's pretty much it. Just being like, and all the stuff is pretty much gonna be just practicing on you at the most part. Just stay cool and calm, collected, man. Let me know what you guys think about the stick lanes, and if you have any more questions, just put in the comments below. I know I said a lot, but if I forgot something, just let me know. But stick lanes, like I said, is a very serious, because it's very subjective. I think that's what I wanted to say. It's serious because it's very subjective with the grader. You're gonna think it's easy, but it's not as easy as you think, because the grader is gonna be on some, like, depending on who you with. So let me know what you guys think. Hit the subscribe button, and I'm out. Gone.